Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be talking through a couple player props I like on Prizepicks for tonight's NBA slate on Friday, March the 17th. Today is St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone watching this video. Hopefully we can get a little bit lucky tonight. Hopefully we can win some money on this Friday night slate. It is Flex Friday, so for today on Prizepicks, we are getting a $20 risk-free flex play. Obviously, if you're new to Prizepicks, you don't know what that is. Basically, the first flex play that you place today after 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time is risk-free, up to $20. So if you put $20 on it and you lose, you get that $20 back in promo funds tomorrow. Usually every Friday, I will post a 6-pick entry that I'm playing for my risk-free play. I'll usually share that over on Patreon. For this video specifically, we're just going to give out 2 plays in this video. So if you run these 2 plays together, it'll just be a 2-pick power entry, so that won't count as your risk-free flex play. But again, if you want to take these picks I give out in this video, maybe come up with some of your picks and make a flex play that way, you can do so. I will be sharing my 6-pick entry that I'll be playing for the risk-free flex play over on Patreon. But we got 2 picks to give out in today's video, guys, for this Friday slate. Before we do talk through these 2 plays, as always, make sure you guys hit that like button down below if you do enjoy these Prizepicks videos. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to Prizepicks, if you never checked them out before, you can actually sign up for Prizepicks and you can use my promo code NOAH. When you look at the bottom of the screen, when you do sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. So check them out. If you have not yet, use that promo code so that way you do get your deposit bonus when you sign up. And I want to recap our 2 plays that we gave out in yesterday's video before we talk through today's plays. So yesterday we went 1-1. We hit one of our plays, but we missed one of our plays, which was unfortunate because I felt like yesterday was a good day. Felt like we were gonna have a sweep, and we took the over on Jokic's first half points. That play did cash for us. Jokic had a big first half. He had a big game overall. I took his first half points because I was a little bit worried about blowout in that Pistons-Nuggets game, and the Nuggets were actually losing at halftime. They wound up making a pretty big comeback, and they won by like 15. But Jokic had a big game. He had a big first half, and I think he went over his full game points as well. So that play did cash for us. Unfortunately, though, we took the over on Spencer Dinwiddie's assist at 8.5, and Dinwiddie finished with 7 assists. But man, if you watch the game, if you watch how the game played out, it felt like it was going to be a play that was going to hit for us. He had 3 assists. Dinwiddie had 3 assists like very early in the game, like the first few minutes of the game. And then after that, he just went cold. I think he played like a full quarter, maybe 2 full quarters without an assist. And then like in the fourth quarter, he got like 3 assists in the fourth quarter, finished with 7. I was looking, he had 12 potential assists yesterday. So it wasn't like, we didn't really run that bad. I mean, there was 5 assists that didn't get converted that they missed. But normally about half of their potentials convert to actual assists. So the fact that he had 12 potentials and finished with 7 assists, that's not really like too bad. I would have been more mad if he had like 17 or 18 potential assists and then only finished with 7. But Dinwiddie came up short of his assist prop yesterday, which was unfortunate. That was the only play that we missed yesterday. We gave out 3 plays over on Patreon. We did hit all 3 of those. So it was a 4-in-1 day, but man, felt like we could have got the sweep there with Dinwiddie. But we'll move on to Friday slate. Again, guys, it's Flex Friday, so hopefully we can cash in on this $20 risk-free flex play. Probably going to post a 6-pick entry, either a 5 or 6-pick entry on Patreon, and hopefully can win 10 or 25x our money today. But let's talk through the 2 picks that I do like kind of early on in the day. I'll record this video around noon, 12 Eastern time. Got 2 fantasy score props I like for today. Went away from the fantasy score props yesterday, but I got some fantasy scores I do like for today. So let's talk through them. The first one that I want to talk about, it's a guy that every time I take an over on him, he plays like shit. I think I've taken 7 props on this guy this season. I've taken like overs on him like 7 times, and I think I've hit 1 out of 7. So just tail with caution here, because for some reason, every time I take an over on this guy, he sucks. But it's going to be DeJounte Murray, and I'm sure a lot of you probably knew what was coming. But DeJounte Murray, 36.5 fantasy score. This line feels too low to me, especially in a great game environment like this against the Warriors in what should be a super fast-paced, high-scoring game. You look at the total in this game, we have a 248.5 total here between the Hawks and the Warriors. I think that's the highest total we've seen on any regular season game this year. 248.5 total, and the spread is only 4, so it's a 4-point spread. Golden State is going to be a little bit short-handed here. They don't have Andrew Wiggins still. Draymond Green is suspended for this game, and Steph Curry is questionable. I think Steph Curry is probably going to play, but this will be something we kind of have to keep an eye on. Even if Steph Curry doesn't play, I mean, Atlanta's not been playing that well this year, so I wouldn't get too worried about a blowout here, even if Steph is out. I think Golden State can probably keep this game competitive. But what makes me really like this prop is just the pace of this game and the expected points that are going to be scored here. I mean, Atlanta has a 126.5 total. Vegas is expecting the Hawks to score over 120 points here, and when Atlanta's putting up points, most of those points are coming through, Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Those are going to be the two guys that really run the offense, do a lot of facilitating, do a lot of the scoring. And again, DeJounte Murray's fantasy score of 36.5 in this great game environment, it does feel a little bit too low to me. I mean, you look at DeJounte Murray over his last 5 games, it's been up and down. He went over 3 games, and then last 2 games he's gone under. He's kind of had some tough matchups though. He had to go up against Minnesota. I like that spot for him against Minnesota. I thought with Jaden McDaniels guarding Trae Young, it was going to mean more opportunity for DeJounte, and that really didn't happen. DeJounte had a bad game, but the game against that, before that against Boston was kind of a tough matchup. But then he did do pretty well against Washington, barely went over his fantasy score. He went over against Miami. He has gone over in the one game they played against Golden State this season. It was a very, very high-scoring game. Pretty sure the game actually did go to overtime, or might have went to double overtime. The game actually went to double overtime, 141-143 final score. But DeJounte Murray had 53.5 fantasy points in that game in 51 minutes. Now, sure, he got extra run because of double overtime, but I'm pretty sure even before overtime, like even at the end of regulation, he had already gone over his fantasy score. And you look at DeJounte Murray this season, I know he's kind of been like an up and down player. He's, you look at his game log, it's like 45 fantasy points, 25, 37, 42, 22, and then back up to like 45. He's just kind of been up and down this season, but when you look at more of a long-term sample, DeJounte Murray throughout his career, especially when he was on the Spurs, but even with Atlanta this season, he's been a productive per-minute producer, and he's averaged 1.08 fantasy points per minute. So he's averaged well over a fantasy point per minute. We see DeJounte Murray play big minutes on a nightly basis. This game, again, has a 4-point spread, so it's a game that should be competitive. And DeJounte Murray, I mean, he's averaging 36.5 minutes per game this season. He's been playing like 36, 38 minutes in competitive games this year. Given the total in this game, given the pace of this game, given that these two defenses are not that great. You look at Atlanta this season in terms of defensive rating. I mean, they rank 22nd in defensive rating this season. Golden State ranks 18th in defensive rating. But if you actually look at Golden State on the road this season, their defense has been really bad on the road. They actually have the 3rd worst defensive rating in the league on the road, only behind the Rockets and the Spurs. So with Golden State playing on the road, with their defense being much worse on the road, with the pace of this game being so great, with the expected massive 248.5 total, all the expected points here, I think DeJounte Murray, if he plays his normal 36, 37, 38 minutes in this high-scoring game environment, can definitely give us 36.5 fantasy score. He's averaged over a fantasy point per minute this season, so I know, every time I take an over on him, he just plays like shit. So I'm sure this will be a game where Trae Young goes off and puts up like 70 fantasy points. For some reason, whenever I take Trae Young over, it's a DeJounte Murray game. Whenever I take a DeJounte Murray over, it's a Trae Young game. So this will probably be a Trae Young game today, but I like this over on DeJounte. Hopefully this game stays close. I think it will. Hopefully Steph plays. If Steph plays, I think that makes it a lot more likely this game stays close. But again, love the pace here, love the total, and we just should see a ton of points scored in this one. So that is the first play that I do like for today. And then another fantasy score prop I like, another guy in a really good matchup, is Brandon Ingram. And I like Brandon Ingram's over of 39.5 fantasy score. You look at Ingram's last 5 games, how he's kind of been playing recently. He did go under he has gone under in 3 out of his last 5, but he did go over last game against the Lakers. Did have a big game against Portland. Some of these games recently, I think, were blowouts. I can't remember which game it was, but I know there was one game recently that was a blowout, and Ingram did not really get full run. The game against Dallas, he actually got injured that game. He played only 17.5 minutes. The game against Sacramento was competitive. He played 38 minutes. The game against Golden State was competitive, played 38 minutes. But the game against Dallas, he had a pretty big first half and then didn't play the second half because he got injured. But you look at his minutes lately in competitive games, 38 minutes against the Lakers, 38 against Sacramento, 38 against Golden State, 38 against Portland, 38 against Orlando. He's playing 37, 38 minutes a night. We normally, when we talk about the Rockets, this is a team you kind of have to worry about blowout. Like anytime you're talking about the Rockets, they're just a bad team. But the Rockets have actually been playing pretty well lately, and they've been keeping games competitive, and they're playing at home today. So I think with Houston playing at home, that makes it a lot more likely this game stays close. This game right now has just a 5-point spread, so it should be competitive. And Brandon Ingram's playing like huge minutes right now. I mean, the Pelicans are fighting for playoff position, so they're trying to win every game they can. They're running Brandon Ingram into the ground right now. And without Zion Williamson, we can expect Brandon Ingram to really dominate the usage on this Pelicans team. He's really been dominating the usage lately, been taking a ton of shots every game. He's just, some of these games lately, I think he's kind of had some poor shooting. Let me take a look at his game log and look at his shooting recently, because I know the shot attempts have been there like every night. It's just, yeah, like I think some of these games he's shot poorly. Like against Golden State, he shot 6 for 16. He did shoot 9 for 16 against Sacramento. But there was like a game against Orlando. I think he still went over this fantasy score, but he shot 8 for 19. But the field goal attempts have been there, and that's what we really care about. The volume's been there. The minutes have been there. The matchup is fantastic. And you look at Ingram's numbers this season without Zion, he's averaged well over a fantasy point per minute, 1.1 fantasy points per minute in the minutes that he's played without Zion this season. 32% usage rate, which does lead the team. It's pretty much been Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum really dominating the usage when they're on the floor. The next highest guy is Jonas Valanciunas, who has a 24% usage rate, and we've seen Jonas Valanciunas, his minutes have been like way down lately. So expect 36, 38 minutes from Brandon Ingram tonight in a great matchup against the Rockets, one of the worst defensive teams in the league. The Rockets have also been a great matchup for small forwards. They're giving up the second most fantasy points to small forwards this season. And when these teams did play earlier this season, Brandon Ingram, he did have 43.5 fantasy points in 38 minutes against the Rockets. 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block, 2 turnovers. But that's what I like as our 2 picks for today, guys. Brandon Ingram over fantasy score, Brandon Ingram over fantasy score, and DeJounte Murray over fantasy score. Again, these are 2 picks I like, kind of taking a first look at the board right now. But I'm going to be sharing some more plays for today over on Patreon. Going to give out at least 3 to 4 additional plays over there. Going to combine those plays with the 2 picks I gave out in this video, make my 6-pick entry, and that'll be what I run for my $20 risk-free play today. So if you guys want access to that, you can check out the Patreon, get all of my additional Prizepicks plays. Every play I do provide on Patreon, I do give a full write-up for, so you can kind of get my thoughts behind every play that I take. But I wish you guys the best of luck tonight. Hopefully, we can all make some money on this Friday night slate. Hope you guys all enjoy your Friday night, enjoy your weekend. Make sure before you do get out of here, guys, hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And also, if you're new to Prizepicks, you haven't checked out Prizepicks before, you can sign up for Prizepicks. Use my promo code NOAH. You'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching the video as always, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.